Hi, Leslie Koo here. In the recent World AI conference held in China, Chinese President Xi Jinping in his opening speech saying that China AI will help the global south and the total number of countries that will benefit amount to 30 of them. How does the AI, China AI help these countries? We look at the national level. They can help them in terms of economic development. Those global south, many of them, if not all of them, are still underdeveloped or only at the start of the economic development pace. So China AI will be able to help these countries. Of course, we are not talking about just give them AI applications. I would think that beside AI applications, AI-related hardware, AI-related software, what comes with this also include other technology, other China technology. So it's a whole package, and it's not just AI, just give you a DeepSeek and then use it. No, it's not like that. It will be a whole package, AI and non-AI hardware and software. So let's back to the global south countries. So these countries, at the national level, AI will help them on the China AI and non-AI technology will be able to help them to jumpstart their economic development. If they are already in the economic development path already on that, you'll be able to help them enhance, make it more efficient or accelerate the development path. And they need infrastructure. For example, I'm pretty sure they need ports or bigger ports, seaports, airports, and railway systems. All this AI and the relevant or the related technology will be able to help to manage them, to manage, to help them manage their seaports, their airports, and their railway system more efficiently and also at a lower cost compared to the non-China tech. And at the individual level, like businesses, businesses of the global south will be able to will be able to hedge a ride on China AI and non-AI technology. They will be able to, because China tech is already very advanced, so with that, they are able to benefit from the already advanced platforms to enhance their business. And at the individual level, as in people, if they, they can work for Chinese companies, which will come to their countries for investments, for constructions, to build stuff, to be able to work for this the Chinese companies, because these people are already familiar with the Chinese software, Chinese hardware, and Chinese platform that they have learned over the years. And also, if they want to set up their own business, be it companies or sole proprietors via internet, online streaming, so on and so forth, they can make use of the China platforms, mobile apps, applications, desktop applications, to tap the 1.4 billion China market. It's a huge market, and we are not talking about 1.4 billion of poor people. A lot of them are now middle income group. So the global south companies or sole proprietors will be able to benefit from the China AI as well as non-AI technologies. And this is what the global south countries will be able to benefit if they are willing to open up to China, to let China help them to develop, to use China AI and non-AI technologies. So this is from the perspective. And what about China? What does it get from this? One thing to highlight is that China, as you all know, is not going to go into the global south countries with troops, with weapons, and bomb them if they don't listen, or threaten them if they don't listen, or if you don't follow my ideology, I will beat the hell out of you. No, that's not China. China will create, as we have seen from track records, China always create a win-win solutions for both sides. Now, in the keynotes, the opening speech, these countries can be divided into the following areas: Caribbean, South America, or Latin America, and some of them, Africa, the Arab world, and ASEAN, the Southeast Asian countries. So now let's talk about the Caribbean. Caribbean, the benefit is the strategic locations. It's in between, right, almost in the middle between USA, America, and South America. So for China, China's cargo, be it from the north via the Arctic region, and also the south, like from South China Sea through the Strait of Malacca, India, Africa, and from that route, these ships can stop at the ports, the seaports of the Caribbean, developed by the Chinese companies or government using Chinese applications. So it is very easy for the Chinese cargo ships to link up with these ports, and that will, to a certain extent, or to a great extent, that will increase the efficiency. So this is one benefits that the China can get if the ports in the seaports of the Caribbean accept the help of China in terms of the AI and non-AI technology. And I believe the Caribbean is a sensitive area, because we're so close to Florida. I would think that the benefits that China will get will be on the commercial side, the normal cargoes. Very unlikely China will be able to park Navy battleships there. The Americans will go crazy. So the Caribbean China benefits from trades. So for say the ships cargo from the north, going to the south, can stop over at Caribbean. Likewise, for those cargo coming from the south, just now I said from the north, then from the south, we'll be able to stop over at the Caribbean, and then to get all the whatever supply that it has, because because the ship has depleted along the way from the south, and then it will head up to any American ports to unload the cargoes. So this is the benefits that the Caribbean can give China. Now, the next one, South America. I think I will lump South America and Africa together. The benefits of this that China can get is the huge consumer market potentials, as well as natural resources like iron, minerals, so on and so forth. These two areas, South America and Africa, there are a lot of people. The population is huge. So for China, AI and non-AI technology is to improve, how should I say, to improve the economy, the money-making environment, so that the South Americans and African people can move up the ladder to go into the middle income group, and from there they can buy Chinese goods. And this is also one way for China to diversify its trades, its markets. We do not want to rely too much on the US, the Europeans, so on and so forth. It must have another alternative, and that is the Global South. So, and of course, on top of that, the minerals, the raw materials, and so forth. With South America and Africa benefit from the China tech, and they are more likely to resist whatever resistance from a third party against China, because I've been trading with China and my population's life has improved and the economy is doing well. Why would I want to stop trading with China? So China will have partners, will have source of resources that are now exposed to less risk of interruptions. So these are the two major benefits that I believe China can get from upgrading South America and Africa. The population there is huge, so the potential is huge. It's just like in China in the 80s when it was just opening up. Yeah. Why the Americans, the European firms went to China, rushed there after the 1972, I think it's 1972 or 1973, the visit of US President Nixon to China. Why? Why all these foreign companies rushed there? It's because of the low labor costs, as well as the huge consumer potential given the China population. So this is the same or similar to, of course, I'm not talking about the scale in terms of the absolute number is can match China, but the number of populations is huge for South America plus Africa. And what the success that China, the success that they can see China benefit from economic development, they will want to replicate. The South America, the Africans will want to replicate a similar success. So these are what South America and Africa can give China. And the next one, the Arab War. The Arab War, as you all know, is crude oil. Okay, it's crude oil. And it's not so much this country, the people are filthy rich. So we are not talking about upgrading their quality of life, so on and so forth. It's more on the crude oil with China. I think the China AI and non-AI technology will help these Arab countries in terms of efficiency, in terms of operating costs. I'm not saying that they cannot afford high operating costs, no, but just that given the scale, the amount of money in terms of operating costs at the national level, I think, especially if it's about crude oil investments, it is critical that if you can, to reduce the cost of operations, and more importantly, to make it more efficient. And another thing is the tie to crude oil. Now we always say about petrodollar. Well, I would think that the petrol renminbi is on the way. Right? May not be next year or the year after, but within the next within 5 years, we should see the rise of petrol renminbi. Because at this moment, these oil-rich Arab countries, they want China to help them in terms of, given the success of China building railway track, high-speed railway, highway, roads, so on and so forth, on desert. I'm very sure they are interested in getting China to help them to replicate all these infrastructures on the desert at the end. So, and the thing is that when China comes to, let's say, build a high-speed rail, or ports, or so on and so forth, they will pay China in renminbi, right? Unlikely they will pay in US dollars or any other currency, so they will pay China in renminbi. And the thing is that China buys crude oil from them, right? And China will pay them in US dollars. So I think the ideal situation is the Arab countries sell crude oil to China and price in renminbi. So the excess renminbi that they have, they can use it to pay for all these China-built infrastructures. That makes more sense to the Arab countries. It doesn't make sense for them to, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but it is make more sense than using US dollars, exchange renminbi, and then pay China. It's way better. I think it's the ideal situations that they charge China in renminbi, in the oil contracts, crude oil contracts, and then they'll have renminbi without any exchange rate risk, and then pay China for building the infrastructures. So these situations, I would think that it is going to be more and more, how do you say, not, how should I put it? This kind of petrol renminbi, the outlook, especially the how should I say, the outlook of petrol renminbi will become clearer and clearer in the years ahead. I would think that by 2030, I mean, the US definitely will not like it, but I would think that there is nothing that the US can do. I mean, I don't think the US can force the Arab world to continue pricing the crude oil in US dollars, selling to China, especially the US-Iran war. The oil producing country in the Middle East see that, well, I mean, you cannot protect us. We are still being bombed by Iran. So, I would think that if there's no huge hiccup or whatsoever, I would think that by 2030, we should see petrol renminbi. We should see that coming. I mean, it's not to replace petrol dollar, but it's definitely an option when the Arab world trade with China in crude oil. So this is what I think it will become. Now, Southeast Asia, the ASEAN, for this region, is the important benefits that China can get is to minimize the risk of interruptions facing the China cargoes, especially at the Strait of Malacca. Yes, I've said the China cargoes can go north, the Arctic regions, then to Europe. But we cannot ignore that China, how do you say, it's not likely that China can push all its trades through the Arctic region. I think the majority of the trade flows will still go through the South China Seas via the Strait of Malacca. Of course, some will be able to use the China-Myanmar economic corridor, right? So from Kunming, go through Myanmar, and then straight out to the Bay of Bengal. So if China or if these ASEAN countries, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, which they need China's help in terms of infrastructures, I think this AI and non-AI technology will help them in terms of efficiency at the national level, especially at the national level, in terms of efficiency, in terms of minimize the cost of operations, in terms of improving the economy, the company level, the sole proprietorship level, and so on and so forth. So with that, China will hope that, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, would be more inclined not to, disturb the trade flows, China trade flows via this road. That means South China Sea, Strait of Malacca, and to Indian Oceans. So, these are corporations, as you get closer, in terms of technology, corporations, especially when the ASEAN countries are able to see the benefits. I mean, these kind of benefits is not likely to be short term. It'll be a medium to long term, like 5 or 10 years down the road, especially when it is infrastructure related. So if they are able to see the benefits, they are more inclined not to disturb the trade flows of China. So this is my view on the impact of AI as well as non-AI China technology on these areas. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.